Handle your high with Tadayoshi. All right, welcome to the show. Hey, Antoine, I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to. I know you're prepping right now, right? You're just weeks away, right?
Yeah, 6 weeks out from Toronto Pro Show.
And you live where now? And you live in Ontario?
Yeah, Burlington, Ontario. It's like 30 minutes past Toronto.
Okay, cool. I have a lot of Canadian athletes that I've worked with over the years, and I've always liked all of them because they're always such nice people.
Yeah, that's what they say, right?
Yeah, I like it. I'm like, that would be the next. If it wasn't so cold there, I probably would move there.
Yeah, I think what it is sometimes is the really big cities like LA, New York. People are they want to get something done. So if you go more into smaller cities, it's you get more of a friendly vibe. But Toronto is more like people in Toronto are nice, but they're more. It's like a Canadian version of New York.
Yeah. When I've been to the only reason I've ever been to Toronto is for the Toronto Pro, and I like the show. Yeah. That's a good show. I think I might have saw you there in 2013.
Oh yeah, when I got last place.
Yeah. But it's always a clean, nice, seems to be safe city. I thought it was nice, and it was just I think I would like to go there during like the movie festivals, whether the Toronto Film Festival. I'm always because I love movies, so like I would love to go there to see that. Have you ever done that?
No, I never went to any kind of like festivals like that. I guess maybe I should start doing that. Yeah, they have lots of nice stuff here actually in Toronto and stuff. It would be a good idea. And if you come by during that time, you should come to the gym we're opening too.
Oh really? Where are you? You're gonna open a gym?
Yeah, me and the boys, my coach and his brother Noah, we're all opening up a gym. Frank McGrath is part of it too. Okay. It's called Pure Muscle and Fitness. It's going to be in Burlington, Ontario.
Pure Muscle and Fitness. Okay, cool.
Yeah, if you check the Instagram, Pure Muscle and Fitness, and on my YouTube, I did my last video. I actually trained there for the first time doing legs. Oh. And if you love training and all the machines and stuff, it's bodybuilding heaven there.
Oh, awesome! Is it? When did you guys open? Did you guys?
We're not open to the public yet, but because I'm part owner, I got the keys and stuff.
Gotta break in the equipment, right?
Yeah, exactly. But tomorrow we actually have the first open house, so people can come see. They gotta come to the gym between noon and 4 p.m. You gotta meet with me and Frank. We gotta talk, gotta see all the machines. So it's gonna be the first time it's gonna be open up to the public. But by then it's gonna be done. But you guys should check out the Pure Muscle and Fitness Instagram, and then you can see all the machines there we're having.
Awesome. So when is the grand opening? Do you know?
We don't have a date yet. I'm not the best guy to ask for that. I'm more the guy who's like doing more promotional stuff, and gotcha. I could say I'm part owner, but it's more Noah and Doran Hamilton are the real brains behind the whole thing, and just message the Pure Muscle and Fitness Instagram, and they ask all the questions there. They're going to be able to help you out.
Awesome. Well, that sounds cool. It's more of a bodybuilding gym, and
it's a bodybuilding gym, but there's going to be strongman stuff. There's going to be power. We have a monolift for Elite FTS. We're going to have platforms for weightlifters, powerlifters, and of course bodybuilding. And anybody who wants to get in shape, it's like the best of both worlds, like super hardcore but super clean, and everybody's welcome.
Oh, cool! That's awesome, man. Good luck. Good luck with that. I'm sure it'll do well. I used to own a gym when I was in the Bay Area, and it's that's a tough business because it just takes a lot of work.
I see that my coach and his brother working every day for the past weeks, just being there, and we were supposed to open April 7th.
Oh.
No way. Too much stuff to do, things you didn't plan. And that's what happens when you open up a big business like that. You never right on time. Like, it's very rare you nail everything perfect, and it's it's going to be for Toronto Pro Show. For sure, it's going to be set up, and all the pros and everybody going to the show will be able to come there. It's just 30 minutes off the highway, so it's really worth it.
Oh, cool.
So, we'll have lots of guests there, too.
Oh, awesome. Do you live close by? Is it close to where you're at?
15 minutes drive.
Oh, perfect.
15 minutes, yeah.
So there's no excuses not to get any workouts or right? No. I like the red Con One shirt. I always get stuff like I've worked with Aaron for so many years, and so I support everything that he does. But But that particular shirt, I love that shirt. But I tried to get one, and man, this thing, I don't know how they got to fit you because I'm not as big as you are, and that was so tiny. The sizing is so.
Yeah, well, I just put it on for the podcast there. It's the double X, but it's pretty tight.
It's tight, yeah. Because I had an extra large. And I'm like, what? I can't fit. I gave it to my girlfriend. I'm like, I can't fit this thing.
Yeah. Usually, I always ask them to give me 3XLs, and they have sometimes the 3XLs a little bit more loose because I like loose a little bit.
Yeah.
It fits well, but some people like the tight look. So that's one of the tight. Maybe for arms tomorrow, we're gonna wear them. Pull the sleeves up or something.
There you go. So there you go. How did you get now? I heard a story. I don't know if it's true or not, but I don't know because I don't know your relationship with Aaron. But I thought that he sort of sought you out and wanted you to come on board with Redcon One. And how did that come about? Tell me the story.
Well, he actually reached out to me on Instagram, and I didn't. I still I'll think about it because I try not to be impulsive anymore in life, and so I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? Because we had lots of things in common because of our past and stuff, and the company was just like growing like crazy. So I was like, you know what, Aaron, like let's do this. You know, let's work something out. And as a person and as a boss, he's like a really good guy, and I'm really happy to be on the team because he takes care of us. He has big plans for Redcon One, and he wants to bring Redcon One and all his athletes up with him. Right. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Aaron's a good dude, man. I mean, there was a time in the industry where he was either loved or hated. I guess for different reasons, but he was. I used to coach him when he was a men's physique athlete, and for a little bit, and then he brought me in to RX Muscle, and I did work with him, and so he was always been very kind to me and had a lot of faith in me, and I appreciate that in him, and so I have henceforth just been very supportive of everything that he does, and of course. What I'd heard, I think, was that because I know all about Aaron's past. He's been on lots of my radio shows before, and we've talked about some of this. And I didn't even know this. I remember one time he just told me a story about, this was years ago, probably like, I want to say 2009 or something. We were at a show or something. He took me to McDonald's when he used to like to eat McDonald's, and that was the one. And he told me a story about him being addicted to heroin and all this kind of stuff. And told me, and I was like, "Wow, man!" It just blew me away because knowing him today and knowing him then, he was not like that kind of a person. But I respected that, and I thought that was part of the story. I thought that was part of the connection, that he sort of resonated with some of your challenges because somebody had told me, and I didn't know a lot about some of your history, some of the challenges you went through just a few years ago, but it sounded like that was like you guys had gone through some similar challenges.
And the thing is that he, because we both battle addiction, and I finally overcame it, and he did like years and years ago. So he knew that I had potential to come back, and it was possible because he did it, and he believed in me. Because there's some companies like. I was with Universal before, and I asked them after that, when I was back after one of my rehabs, if they wanted to, work something out, and they brushed me off right away.
Oh, wow.
Well, but they gave me a bunch of chances before too, but I didn't use them. I relapsed and stuff, so I wasn't a good employee or athlete. But Aaron Singerman saw where I was, and I think he kind of felt that I was good this time. And he believed in me, and then we started working together, and it was pretty good. We started being together after Toronto.
Okay, last year.
Yeah. So right after Toronto, I did a good placing, and then I did the whole off season with the Redcon One team behind me and stuff, and then I gained a good muscle, and now I'm prepping for the show, and hopefully, you're
doing
bodybuilding. We're here.
Now you're doing which show you're prepping for?
Toronto Pro.
Toronto Pro. Is there any other ones after that?
Well, if the goal for me is to qualify for the Olympia, so if I don't win, I'm gonna keep competing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely look improved. I mean, your break did not seem to harm your physique at all. So.
Well, it did. I mean, even the part where I was in training and I wasn't in rehab.
Right, yeah. I guess that was like a couple years, 2 years, a year and a half.
Well, it's crazy because I won my pro card in 2012, and then after that I was like, you know what? I worked hard for this. I just had a bad breakup. I'm gonna start partying. I deserve it. I was entitled in my head. and I got some bad habits because for me back then, having fun was like partying, raves, girls, and drugs. You know, so that's like I got used to that. Fun equal that, and then the brain registered that. It's like, oh, how do I make myself feel good? It then
Party.
knows it knows to that. And then after a while, the connections are made, they're deep, and that's just how you become addicted. And especially when you're extreme like me, I'm obsessive and extreme in sometimes. And when it's in the wrong place, it's very bad.
What was your what were you addicted to? What was your problem? What was the thing
It was more stimulants, and I know I don't try to focus on that too much because in the program that we use in the 12 steps, we try to be more general.
Oh,
That
okay.
way, like it can reach more people.
Gotcha.
Because let's say if some guy's problem is smoking a lot of weed or drinking, and some other guy is like very hard drugs, he's gonna be like, oh, I'm not like that. I'm not that bad.
That's not me. That's not me, right?
Yeah, if you keep it general, and then I relate to what he's saying because you can replace drugs with food, with sex, with video games, and
Gambling, you name it.
it's all something to mask some pain.
Yes.
So if you keep general, you can reach more people. So I try to do that. I mean, sometimes I'm going to slip here and there. I'm going to name something, but I try not to do it too much.
What a lot of people actually, I think that's very indicative of Western society in general, that we tend to want to mask pain. We tend to want to push it aside and fill that void with other things to try to replace it instead of actually what I like to call rolling into it. If you lean into the uncomfortability of life, it's okay. It's not as bad as it seems. I think we oftentimes make our situations more. We amplify it by how we think about it, when we think about it, how often we think about it, and then I could easily make my when I look outside here in Chicago. I live in Chicago. When I look outside at the weather these days, and it's kind of bipolar at times. If I let myself, it'll fuck up my day because I love sunny weather. I love warm weather, and I grew up in Vegas. I'm native Hawaiian by nationality. I kind of like, this is what my body really wants, and I get kind of depressed when I see gloomy weather. I get that seasonal effect, so I take lots of vitamin D and stuff for it. But if I let my mind go to those places, absolutely, I'll want to just stay in bed or sleep or like go have a drink or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very tricky because if we can be a slave when you're a slave to the environment, then you get controlled by the environment. Then you're kind of unconscious. You don't go where you really want to go. You go where the environment takes you. So. Yes. So if you're like you let all those things affect you from the outside, you won't be in control of your life. So the thing that I do, if you want to take the rain for example, so if it rains outside, you gotta observe the rain and accept the rain for what it is, and then you don't let that affect you like emotionally and stuff. So it's all about acceptance. And there's a cool prayer we do. The serenity prayer, it says, God grant me to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So that means that give me the serenity to accept the things I can't change. Like, what can I change, what can I cannot? If you can't change the rain, so accept it or you'll be miserable. And then you need courage to change the things you can. So if you can change it, then
give it a shot.
Pray for some courage, give it a shot, and give it your best.
Yes, right.
And then the wisdom is to make the difference. Right. So before, if there's a situation in front of you, it's like, okay, can I change that, or I can control it? Can I control it or not? If not, then accept it. That's the only solution you can do, or you'll feel bad. But if you can change it, then suck it up and do it.
I think absolutely. I'm a little familiar with some of the 12-step programs because I had an ex-girlfriend who was an addict and she was a recovering alcoholic, but she got rid of the lifestyle. She helped other girls. She went to the 12 steps. She still kept going for years. And then when I grew up, my stepfather he went to 12 step because he was for AA. He was an alcoholic. And I didn't think it wasn't really like we didn't have a horrible family childhood with him in the house. It was just he had gotten to this point where he really needed to go do that. And he did, and so. But you seem to have, when I hear you speak, because he's very East Coast. He's from New Jersey. He's a wonder. I love him to death, but he's not like a really touchy-feely kind of guy. He's not real super introspective. He just was like, okay, I'm going to stop. And then because he had responsibilities, like, I just can't do this anymore. I'm going to stop. He went to the 12-step programs for a couple of years. And then he hasn't drank anything for like 30-something years now. But but it wasn't really like this, like you have a much more personal, intellectual approach, which resonates with me because that's the way I try to, deconstruct things in my life. So was that part, did they teach you that? Or like, did they go over these kinds of things and this is what you guys talk about? Or is that you?
I think for me, I'm a pretty emotional person, and if I leave my emotions unchecked, it's still going to be good for me. So now I always try to be honest, and I get rid as the emotions come. I try to deal with them. And when you said like he did a few 12 steps, and he just stayed clean. That's we call it the white knuckling.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I gotta get sober. So you're a dry drunk.
Oh,
so
right.
You still have all the bad habits,
right.
all the bad temperaments, but you just don't have the alcohol. So you're actually worse than when you were drinking. Because when you're drinking, you're kind of like, you're
medicated.
You dealt with it with that. But now you don't have your medication anymore, so you're stuck with all that. And some people are just like miserable. So you need to put in the self-work.
Right.
And once you do that, and you can live life without drugs and alcohol, and you can actually live a happy life. So the 12 steps are made for that.
Oh.
The 12 steps it's not like when you stop. The 12 steps is like a program you do every day. Like, for example, step 1 is that accepting that you're powerless over your addiction. So for an alcoholic, it would be like, I got to accept that I cannot drink. If I take this drink, it's never going to be 1. It's going to be 2, 3, 4. I'm going to be passed out drunk. Right. So you got to accept that you have no power over that. So that takes humility, humble.
Mm-hmm. Yep, humility. Yeah, it takes humility. Yeah.
So if you have a big ego, you're going to, no, I'm not powerless. I have control over that. That's why some people, they don't stop ever. And at first I was like that. At first I was like, oh, no, I'll stop someday. I can deal with that. But then my friend passed away. Then I said, okay, I'm stopping now for real. And then 3 weeks later, I was doing it again. Then I noticed, like, oh, shit. I swore to myself I was going to stop, and then I did it again. So this thing is stronger than me. So that's step 1. So there's 1 to 12 that you're going to do every day. But if you cannot do 9 if you don't apply the first one.
Oh, I see.
So it's a good program. Anyway, yeah, and it's funny because in the program they say like not to talk about the 12 step too much in the public like that.
Oh, why?
Because why? I think it's because if I represent NA or AA and I do something stupid and bad, it gives them a bad name.
Oh, I see.
It's supposed to be anonymous, right?
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it can be.
I think personally for me, I think it's good that I talk a little bit about it so people understand a little bit the 12 steps. Because before the 12 steps, before AA, people were dying of alcoholism. They would go to the hospital because there's a big book you can read about that. Bill, his name Bill and Bob. They wrote this book, the AA book.
Right,
it's like a Bible for the AA. And so before they wrote that, they would go to the hospital. The alcoholics, they would go there. They would give them some pills, sober them up for 3 weeks, and then them back. Oh, you're cured. And then they would be back worse in 3 weeks. Like, what was happening? It was the only disease that they could not find a cure because it's kind of weird. It's like a mental, spiritual disease. It's not something you can cure with a pill or just a simple like therapy.
Yeah.
It's a whole like. You got to relearn how to live, and how it started actually is that the Bill was trying to stay sober himself. He was an alcoholic, and he found out that by going to the hospital and talking to the other alcoholics, he was staying clean himself.
Oh,
so he was like, oh, so
something in this.
The bond and sharing and the sense of community is helping me stay strong and stay sober. It gives a sense of a purpose. So that's how it started. And then he met Bob, the doctor, who was also an alcoholic. And then together they came up with this whole thing. But before that was in the 1940s. Before that, people were just dying left and right. There was no cure.
I know I think a lot of people still misunderstand addiction, and they kind of oftentimes, and I don't want to take the onus off the individual, but they oftentimes put too much blame on the individual. And it's not that there isn't blame to be put there. It's just that once you get into that position, I know from the biology, it is you're stuck. You need help.
Oh yeah.
It's
It's very hard because the brain will always remember the fastest way. You can see it like that. Let's say there's a football field. There's a meter of snow on the football field, and you go one way to go to the like on the side of the field. So you always take the same way. So the snow is all like it's a road.
Right.
There's no snow anymore. So getting out of that road and going to another way, it's way harder. You're like in the snow like that, so you're way more prone to getting back to the easy way. So all the connections in the brain is kind of similar. So you're gonna, if you always do the same thing every day, that's why having a routine in bodybuilding is essential. Because the more you do the same thing every day, the more it becomes. So if you do something different and you go somewhere, you travel, it's harder. The prep gets harder. So, but the brain works like that for everything. So if every time you're sad, you're gonna eat some ice cream and watch a movie, like at some point it's gonna be very hard for you not to do that.
You create the behavior.
Like, this makes me feel good, I'll do it. It's like a dog. Sit, then you give him a treat. At some point you say sit, he's gonna sit down, he's gonna wait for a treat. Yeah. He's gonna like salivate and stuff because he's ready for that. Right. So the brain is a wonderful tool, but you can be like a slave to it because it can backfire on you. And it's not because the addicts are like it's their fault, and it's also at some point they're a victim of their own past decisions. And the thing that they need to do, they need to like accept that they're like that, put the ego aside, and then get some help. Because by them, talking about me, by myself, just stopping, last 5 days, I would go back. Because you're such in a bad state of mind. Because if you're feeling really bad, your brain knows one way to feel good, right. And then you're feeling worse at your worst ever. It's very hard not to say, fuck it, I'm just going to do some more, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it takes, I think it's one of them, because I've thought a lot about it, right? Because I did a lot of rehabs and it's part of my life. It's one of the things that's the most weird that I've ever lived in my life. It's like the weirdest challenge and the hardest one, because it's like it's you against yourself, and it's like from one moment to another you're gonna think different. Because for the good example is like in the morning, if you're very comfortable in the bed, you don't want to get up and do your stuff. If at the end of the day, sometimes you're productive and you're going to do stuff. So just in the same day, same person will be totally different. So imagine for an addict or recovering addict or anybody, they're going to change their mind all the time. So it's very tricky. And also, it's like you're battling something that's abstract. Because, for example, if you break your leg is fucked, or you have a liver disease, it's there, it's in the leg. If you have chemicals in the brain that you're missing, there's some pills you can take for that, and But addiction is like some kind of like abstract, like it's what is it? It's like it's not just in their brain. It's like a spiritual. It's like it's a void inside that's like in the soul or something. It's more than just like a disease that you can write on paper and you have this symptom. This is what you need to do. Like the doctors, it's like it's that's why like it's so crazy. Like sometimes it's hard to explain, and that's why you need to add something hard to explain in the mix. You need to add the higher power. You need to add God, because with that added to the mix really helps. And that's how I actually became like I'm not a Christian or anything like that. I just believe that there's something everywhere all the time.
Right,
and and I do believe that if you can explain God, you don't know God.
Right. Well, yeah.
Yeah. We cannot understand with our mere little monkey brain. This whole thing is.
When I was in graduate school, I went to seminary and I studied theology, and I got a degree in philosophy, and I studied different religions. I'm fascinated and love behavior and also spirituality and theology and stuff. And one of the terms that I really loved was this idea that says that God is ineffable, this ineffable quality, which
ineffable. What does that mean?
Ineffable means undescribable. The second you're able to put words or describe it in some fashion, you've limited it. You've automatically boxed it and limited it,
Exactly.
and God becomes lesser than the idea that he had.
Because using words that we created.
Right,
and he's bigger than us. So
and they limit it. It's like saying this is blue. It can only be blue. Well, it can. What if it's bigger than that? What if it's greater than that? Right? Like, so it's hard to. So God is one of those interesting concepts that we have to have a term for it, but it's really this feeling, this acknowledgement. So it's really fascinating. But it sounds to me like bodybuilding and 12-step are very similar for you, help you in very similar ways in terms of giving you structure. Is that?
Yeah, it's funny because I was telling one of my friends earlier, because I have my own podcast I started. I have one episode now. Yeah.
What's it called?
And, it's called Antoine Vaillant Podcast, AVP. Okay. I have one video on my YouTube and I got one on SoundCloud, but I'm figuring out iTunes. But so I wanted to do my second episode on the contest prep mindset. And in that episode, I was going to talk about how all the rehabs and the things I've learned, how to deal with my emotions and deal with different factors, how things I learned in rehab are making the preps I'm doing now way easier.
Oh, really?
Way easier. It's like, for example, if you just look at the hunger, if you look at hunger, like you look at it like a feeling. Because let's say if you're angry, in rehab, they say like don't live the emotion.
So what do you mean? Like don't.
I'll explain. So let's say if you're angry, look at yourself from another perspective. Look at that feeling. Okay. How do you feel? Is it your body's heating up? There's a ball of like angst over here, and just try to observe it. Observe like analytical. Analyze everything.
Don't judge it.
Don't judge it. Leave it there, and then you can just be like, oh, I accept that right now this is what's happening. You accept it, and then you kind of like a good analogy. They said rehab is like you look at like a cloud. You see the cloud, like the anger, and then you just watch and just let it go, like a bad thought.
Let it sort of
you can also be like So let's say if you think about something about the past that you did, and you keep obsessing over it and over again, you're reliving the past. But if you the thought comes in your head, oh, okay, yeah, it's there, the thought, I'll just let it go.
In Zen Buddhism, they call that grasping. So the idea is to become detached. Like, this is a great concept. So you have a feeling, you have a negative feeling, and if most people, they focus on it. And then and that's bad, because you just start to live it up. You start to make it more and more and more. And next thing you know, you're pissed off at everybody.
Going back to the hunger. So with the hunger, when you're prepping, you observe, okay, I'm hungry. This is just how it feels to be hungry. And I need to be like that if I want to get shredded, right? So you just accept the hunger, and then you just deal with it. You just let it go, and you just accept it.
I like that.
Fine. I feel like that right now. But if you're hungry and you're like,
oh man, I want something to eat.
and you just like start being self-pity like about yourself that you're hungry, and then you just try to mask it with something, try to control it with pieces of gum and stuff, you're gonna feel miserable. If you just like, oh, this is how it feels to be hungry, and actually it's not that bad because it's not real hunger. In the world, it's like real hunger. So that's just one little example that like something I learned in rehab that I can apply for my prep. That's one of them. Oh, it's just that you observe all the feelings in prep. You got to observe them, and you got to accept them. You don't live them. You observe them from another angle, and then you just let them go.
I used to tell people, I've coached so many people over the years, I used to tell, because they would complain about hunger. They go, oh, what do I do when I'm hungry? And I'd say, don't think about it. And they go, well, I can't. I'm like, well, no, you won't. You're choosing not to. You can. You can choose to not think about it if you wish. It's hard, but you can. And that's, to me, it's all about focus, right? Like, where do you put your focus? So if you're putting your focus on something, you're going to make it gain momentum in your life, whether it be hunger, or whether it be a girl, or whether it be bodybuilding, or whether it be whatever, you know. So I say, put your focus on the things you really want to make more, and you want to grow. So it sounds like you've gotten a tremendous amount of value. So I believe that in this life that everything happens for great reasons, that everything happens for us and not to us. It happens for our benefit if we're brave enough to be able to look at those situations, even if they don't feel so good, and extract out the good stuff. And it sounds like that's what you've done.
Yeah, exactly. Like my addiction was a curse while it was happening, but now it's a blessing. Now it's a
Yeah,
blessing
yeah, absolutely.
because of that, I got so many more skills to deal with life. And I got so many opportunities to help other people by sharing about that. And but the trick is that if I have struggles right now with whatever it is, I need to put myself in a state of mind of, oh, this is happening for a reason that's going to make me better later. But when it's happening, we don't think about that, right? So
Right.
that's the challenge. But for sure, my addiction was a curse, and now it's a blessing because now I can actually help people that are going through that or other struggles and just share the knowledge that I learned and, you know,
Has
and
that
just
been? Do
make
you
it,
get
make
to?
it, make it positive.
Do you get to go out and talk to people about this stuff, like at schools or something, or have you done that yet, or do you plan on doing that?
Not yet, but that's one of the reasons why I'm doing interviews and I do my own podcast. And I did the first one I did was on RX Muscle with
Okay.
Dave. He asked me about my addiction and stuff, and I got a lot of good feedback about just talking about it. So even when I do a little post on Instagram and I talk about it a little bit, I get lots of good feedback. So it would be kind of like dumb and selfish to keep all that for myself.
Well,
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
especially because you have such good insights, and it will probably, if it's helped you, it probably would help a whole bunch of other people too. I imagine. Um,
for sure, for sure. And the thing that's kind of cool, I'm aware that some people they look up to me and they follow me, and so when I talk about it like that, it's gonna have a lot of it's gonna have more power than if I was
well,
just I don't want to say normal guy,
or just
but
anybody else, right?
yeah, but you know what I mean. If I was just like some guy that didn't look up to, he wouldn't have a lot of power. But now because I got lots of people who are following me, I'm aware of it. I'm grateful for it, and I'm using it to spread positive vibes and
Sure,
stuff.
absolutely. And one of the things that I started going looking through some of your social media stuff, and one of the things I like and I've liked about your personality is you're funny and you're kind of lighthearted and I'm like that too. Like I'm usually always screwing around and joking around with people, and especially people in my life. And I'm always laughing and I'm always smiling. So you seem to be that same kind of fun-loving person. Is that? I mean, did that feed into? Did that kind of feed into that addiction, or was that just a consequence of just of just you being you?
I think you know what's funny. I think when I was younger, before I started training bodybuilding, I was the most shy person. I would think
Really?
3 weeks before doing an oral presentation at school, I would stress for 3 weeks and I would shake with my paper in the front.
And now you get
Yeah,
up on stage in a pair of posing trunks.
yeah, but literally, that's what happened. So at 15, I said I want to compete in bodybuilding. Then I joined the gym. That's how it happened. It was I saw on the website bodybuilding.com and the magazines, the review of the Olympia 2003. I was like, this is crazy. I want to look like that. So my goal was to always improve myself. And at first, I was focusing just on the bodybuilding part, the body part, because But me, I'm all about self improvement. And so I started prepping for my first show at 15. At 16, I did it.
Oh wow.
And I went on stage at 16 years old, by myself, prep by myself. And I won my class. I beat another guy who was older than me, so he was 20, and I was pretty happy. And then the next day, I woke up and I said, wait a minute. I went on stage almost naked, under the spotlight, in front of, like, I don't know, maybe 100 people, and being judged. And I was like, I did that.
I'm okay. I'm still here. I'm alive.
In a speedo. So then I said, I'm not shy maybe anymore. I'm not as shy anymore. So it gave me a lot of self-confidence that I could achieve that, and I could actually, I wasn't as shy anymore. And then as the years went by, then I remember at 20-year-old, I was still shy with the girls at 20. Then I was in a club at some point after doing Mr. Canada Junior. And I said, I'm going to go talk to those three hot girls over there. So I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So I went to talk to them, and I dated one for a year. So
That must have worked. It must have worked.
And then after that, modeling and gave me a lot of confidence. And then with the girls, I got more confidence because in the past, I'll tell you a funny story. When I was 17, I was at Cégep at college, and I saw it was a beautiful girl there, and I had no idea. I had no game with the girl, so I said to my friend, maybe I should. What should I do? Should I just go ask her to go see a movie or something and tell her she's beautiful? And he said, yeah, go do that. I was like, okay. And it took all my courage. I go up to the girl and say, hey, I think you're beautiful. Would you like to go to the movies with me? And then she turned around with her friend and she pointed and laughed.
Why?
Laughed.
Oh my gosh!
And
That's horrible.
Like, this is the worst thing that could happen. I'm never talking to a girl again. I turned around and I just like for like 3 years.
You're like, fuck it, I'm not.
Have girlfriends. That was a horrible moment. But I think when people are young, they're kind of more mean. So
it could feel that
right
way.
Right now, if I would go to a girl and I would say that, they would just say no, and they would probably appreciate it. They would laugh.
Well,
but yes, that was funny. But then with the girls and when I started partying a little bit when I was younger, and then when you're all loose from the drugs and the substances, you don't care as much. So like my social life
opened up.
Tripled. Yeah, went over the top there, and I had no problem talking to people. And
was that the big draw for you? Like, there's always a draw for people. Like, some people it's covering up the pain. Some people it's like, hey, I could feel like more like myself. Was that the draw to be not shy?
I felt like the drugs and alcohol was
helping you
just help me
to interact with people.
Be like just go because I like the intensity of it. I like the chaos, the intensity, and I felt that gave me the drive to just go crazy and have lots of fun. Because for me, it was all about having fun.
Sure.
Even in my life in general, it's like, oh, I like to have fun. You know, like why would it have to be so boring?
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so I started doing that for that. At first, it wasn't too bad, but then after 2012, like I said, I did some harder drugs, and then I had no schedule, and then I started hanging around with the wrong people. But at first it was attractive for me because I was like, oh shit, I can dance, I can it was like intense, right? It was like new feelings. It's like even like the physical feeling of it. It was like everything was great about it. Because if it wasn't, I would have not kept doing it, right? So there was some good things about it.
Yeah.
But it was too good.
Well, I think we all have our thresholds, right? Like each person can only has so far they can go before they go over the edge with something. You know, they take it too far. I love going to EDM festivals, and so I go. And I know you're kind of an EDM fan, I think, because I think I heard some of your story on Instagram. You listen to the same kind of music I do.
Yeah, techno.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff. I love it because it's very high energy for the same reasons. Yeah. And I like to dance, and so I'll go to these festivals and I'll dance for like 5 hours. As a matter of fact, I'm really excited because I got my I don't know if you can see this. Got my EDC Vegas stuff yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. It's this is just the nice kit. Yeah, when you get the VIP package, they send you this nice little thing with.
You're gonna have lots of fun there. The thing for me is I would have to be careful to go there. I would have to go there with like one of my friends. One of my sponsors. He helped me out with the recovery. He's also clean and sober and he likes the music. I would need to go with a sober partner.
Sure, absolutely.
That way I can relate. Because if I go by myself, everybody else is high. I'm not gonna connect with anybody. It's not gonna be as fun for me.
Right.
But so I was actually looking like, is there? Because I like the underground techno hard shit, and I was wondering like, there's one in Detroit. It's like May 27th, but I'll still be prepping, so I can't go. And I would go by myself. I would go either with my friend Noah here, who's also like he doesn't take any drugs, or I would go with my friend Aaron. But I wouldn't go by myself because the last time I had a slip was September 2017. That's what happened. I went with a friend who was sober from the rehab. But then I saw all my other friends from the past, and then I had the idea of like trying something, you know, and then I caught it quick and I stopped, and the next day I went back on my recovery, but it could have been really bad. So I just gotta be careful. Like if I think I'm invincible, you know, I'm gonna get in trouble. Yeah, for real, because I'm always vigilant. I gotta ask myself in my heart, hey, is this really the right thing to do? You know,
that's really aware of you. It's a very evolved kind of a sensibility. I'm always surprised because I dive into all this kind of stuff. self-improvement, introspection, reflecting on myself and trying to be in my now moments and those, all the mindfulness practices. I'm very, very,
you read probably the Eckhart Tolle's book, right?
Absolutely. He's one of my favorites, man. Eckhart Tolle is awesome. Do you practice mindfulness stuff, meditation, anything like that?
Meditation, yeah, I should probably do more than I'm doing, but I do it. I do it when I do a lot of cardio. I do it. But I have this chair over there. See that?
Yeah. The leather one.
I bought that for meditation, but I didn't do it yet. Yeah, because it takes a lot of discipline to just sit down and do nothing.
It does.
Especially in the age where you're on your phone and you always want to be distracted.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's why I say my recovery. There's always work.
I think I see it right behind the chair. Is that a trophy or a sword or something? I don't know. It looks like something behind.
Sword.
Is it a sword?
Oh no, it's a cane.
Oh, a cane. I'm like,
yeah,
is that a sword?
I'm doing a guest pose.
Okay.
Next week.
Oh, you
want to say what it is, but yeah.
Last time you got in trouble for your props, man. Not really. But
I know. No, this time it's something more dark.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna film it. It's gonna be on my YouTube, so it's gonna be.
I'll watch for it. It was. I thought the last one. I thought the last one was funny. I thought it was good. I don't know. I thought it was. I thought it was completely appropriate. I don't know. I didn't think anything bad about it, but some people get their feelings hurt. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you're a judge too, right? Is that true?
I am a judge. Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So you didn't think it was out of line at all?
No. I think that anything. I mean, you were having fun with it, and that's the whole point. The whole point is for us to have fun with everything. And if like when somebody says something to me about, like, say they call me a name. Let's just be real direct. If somebody says, "Oh, you're a jerk," I don't take it personally, and here's why: because it's none of my business what they think of me. You could, if you want to tell me, then fine. But I don't. I'm not. I stop. I do my best these days to not take too much stuff personally, because I realize that whatever people spew forth from them, it's usually not because of what's going on out here. It's because of what's going on in here.
Yeah.
And when somebody's angry on the inside, you just become the excuse for them to bring it out. That's it. Yeah. Like I used to always wonder why people like get all upset when they're driving on the freeway. Somebody cuts them off. They're like, fuck you. They get all pissed off. I'm like, I never could understand this because I'm not like that. I'm not like that. I know that I'm not getting anywhere any faster. Like whether I'm 1 or 2 car lengths farther on this road, I'm not getting there any faster. And if you do the math, I just did the physics. If you do the math, you got to drive 20 miles an hour faster than the speed limit for more than 15 minutes to make a dent in getting somewhere any quicker. You just can't.
You really thought about it.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, why is there a reason for me to be upset if I have to go slower in traffic, or if I have to no, there's not. Like I'm going.
It's funny though. There's about the traffic. I don't know who said it before, but it's like, when you're in traffic and you're saying like, oh, fucking traffic.
Right.
Hey, you are the traffic.
Exactly. That's you. Exactly. You're part of it, buddy.
You're part of the traffic. Like, you're angry at something that you're a part of. And the traffic is a great place to practice mindfulness and actually being in the now and accepting. And for the personal stuff you were saying, like that, take it personal. I agree completely. And actually, you probably read that book too, the 4 Agreements, the Toltec Agreements.
Yeah. I know.
The rule is
great book.
Yeah. So all that stuff is like that you're talking about. Yeah, I try to apply too. But the thing is it's very easy to apply it when you're in a good mood.
Exactly.
When you're in the emotion, it's a little bit harder. This is when it gets challenging.
It gets very challenging. One of the things that I use, and I like what you do when you say you take a step back and you sort of like watch your, analyze your feelings and watch them sort of float by. Yeah. That's wonderful. I do something kind of similar. I in my head, I tell myself, I get upset if I feel any negative emotion whatsoever, frustration, anger, it doesn't matter what it is. I only want to feel joy, love, happiness, excitement. But if I'm feeling something that doesn't feel good, I always take a step back in my head. I'll go, okay, Ted, take a step back, go back to your center. That's where I feel easy. And then and I do almost exactly what you said. Let's look at this. What is this feeling? Why do I have it? Is it valid? And I just kind of let it, and I don't try to attach myself to it. And it helps it to just sort of go away. And then I realized really quickly that, okay, it's okay. Everything's good.
Yeah. Nothing lasts ever.
No.
So if you're angry, you know it's not gonna last.
Right.
So you got to be like, I'm angry, but I know it's not gonna last. So you just got to be patient and deal with it. And then, but if you're happy, you also know it's not gonna last. So you should be in the present moment and enjoy it.
Exactly.
So nothing lasts. Even us, we don't last. Even the earth is not gonna last. Even our sun, the star, is not gonna last. Nothing's ever gonna last.
I was thinking about this just yesterday. As a matter of fact, I don't know. I was working out and I was thinking, like the impermanence of life, but also more importantly, I was thinking about how if whatever I focus on is going to persist in my life. So if I'm focused on anger, or if I'm focused on things, it's just going to continue on. So if the best way to let things go, to move by me quicker, is for me to, like you said, like observe it and let it sort of float on through. That's the quickest exit out. But I think we want to try to find solutions. We're always trying to get rid of things, so to speak, like get rid of bad feelings. And maybe the best solution really is, like you said, just to sort of let it sort of drift by, let it take its natural course. It's supposed to be there for us.
Yeah. It makes me think about something. Like if something happens, like on the road on the office, and then you might think about it hours later.
Right.
And then if you do that often with other stuff, there's gonna be in French we call it resentment.
Resentment, okay.
Because resentment and ressentiment in French, sentiment means emotion, and ressentiment means re-emotion. So you're reliving the emotion that you didn't deal with. So after a while, it becomes like not only resentment, it becomes like a personality trait. Oh, this guy's an angry person. It's because he never dealt with anger ever. So he just carried it around his whole life. He became a resentment, and then the resentment became a personality trait. And then at that point, you got to do a lot of work to go back.
So, you programmed yourself.
Yeah. So the thing to do, like I said, is like every time something small happens, you kind of want to apply what you learned to deal with it, and then you're cleared. You're back to your center, and then you can. If something else that happens, you're okay. Because if something really bad happens and you're an angry person,
it's going to just exacerbate it. It's going to make it worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the things that you say really sound like you may have. Have you read or listened to Dr. Joe Dispenza? He's awesome. I love him, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't finish his book. It's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
So I did the first part, and I'm in the second part of the book. It's pretty good, and he talks about the quantum level of stuff.
That's right.
Is that the right guy I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, on the quantum level. And the cool thing that I got from that is that on the quantum level, time is not a factor or something. So if you're actually visualizing something about the future that you want something to happen, you kind of like want to think it now about all in the details, and you need to feel what you're going to feel.
That's right.
Then right now. So
That's
you have
right.
more chances to manifest it.
That's right.
So it's a little bit like out there, but I think it works.
It absolutely
for example, when I do my cardio, I do that. I picture, because I have time to kill, right? So I got my techno going. I'm pumped up. Every step is a conscious step towards victory, and I'm thinking about like the guys I'm going to be against. I'm thinking about myself on stage winning, and then sometimes I get the goosebumps, and
that's good stuff.
I feel the emotion, and sometimes I can even almost cry while I'm doing cardio, because I'm putting myself so much in the moment in the future that I'm living it right now, and doing that is giving me probably more of this happening because of that.
That's you're doing it perfectly. Actually, you're exactly correct, and I believe in the same thing. Actually, I definitely believe in these things. I do it myself. I do it when I meditate. I meditate every morning for at least 20 minutes, and then of course
What's your routine for meditation, and what do you do?
So actually, funny you showed me the chair, because I have a big black leather chair similar to that in my room that I use just to meditate in. Okay. And so every morning I get up, I drink a little bit of water, and I go sit down in my chair. And I close my eyes. Usually my dog's sitting next to me. He likes to meditate with me.
Yeah, cool.
and then I do the kind of meditation that I call emptying, where I try to just empty my mind. I don't want to think about anything. I just want to just be. And then I just focus on breathing, and I can do that. And then I do that for about usually minimum 20 minutes. Sometimes I'll be more if I'm not feeling great for the day. If like I woke up and I just wasn't feeling my normal sparky self, I'll wait till I feel good, and that sometimes can take 45 minutes of meditating. But that's usually about my limit. Yeah. And then I go and do my morning routine and eat and go work out and stuff. But
yeah, in the morning I feel your mind is more clear, so it's easy to do it.
Yes,
totally. If you do it at night, your brain is scrambled and it's harder.
It's harder to focus because you had all this whole day's worth of data dumped on you. And yes, because it's kind of interesting. You're absolutely right with some of the things you talked about. I've done a lot of work with, like brain plasticity, which is the idea which is the science of how your brain changes based on how you use it. And you're absolutely correct. The more you think a certain way, your brain opens up neural pathways. They get wider and makes it easier and easier for you to think that way. So when people used to say to me, "Well, how come you're always so positive, Tad? You're always so happy and you're always so positive." I said, "Well, I don't have much of a choice. I've practiced this way for so long that whenever I come into a situation, I automatically see the glass half full. I just automatically do this. I didn't always." So it's a practice. So it's like going to gym.
It's gonna. Yeah, it's cool because when I was saying earlier, if you feel a certain way that you use drugs, and then your brain you're gonna shape it so it acts like that every time this happens. But this can be good for the other way around. So now it's like your brain is like addicted to dealing with things the positive way.
Right. Exactly. Precisely.
You thought about that for so long. You practiced it for so long. Now it's like second nature.
Right. And one of the things that I always that some people that seems so clear to me at least is that I always want to feel good. I always want to feel happy. I always want to feel joyful. I always want to feel good. So I ask myself whenever I'm angry or whenever I'm frustrated about something or worried or pensive about something, and I know that doesn't feel good to me. It doesn't feel good to sit and go, "Oh man, I wonder if I could pay that bill," or "I wonder if I could get that one thing," or "I wonder if I could do that one thing." I don't like feeling that way. So I always strive to like find a perspective that allows me a bit more ease. And so so people used to ask me, how come I do all these things? And I said, well, it's because my life, my happiness is my choice. The choices of my attitude that I take every day. I could take a different choice and be frustrated and be angry when somebody does something that hurts me, but I'm the one that suffers. I'm the one that gets to feel bad. I don't want to do that. I'd rather just forgive and love everybody. With no conditions present needed. I don't want to have to be tied to conditions, because then I got to say, okay, I can only like you if you do this, this, and this. You don't say it like that in life. But we kind of do that to our friends and our family and our spouses, and we say we reprimand them almost. And I'm trying to get my life as far from judgment, as far from that kind of stuff as possible, so I can immerse myself in the good emotions that I always want to feel. And I realize that I won't always feel the good stuff, that it's necessary to feel the bad stuff so that I can truly appreciate the good stuff when it comes. Sort of like when I tell people, like, what's the best thing about having a cheat meal? Best thing about having a cheat meal is that you didn't have this kind of food all week, or for a couple of weeks if it's depending on, and it tastes better. It's the same food you've eaten before, but it just happens in perspective. It tastes better because you've denied yourself it, and so now you have a temporary deeper appreciation for it. One of the things I used to say to people is that, and I still do, that don't worry, they're still going to make pizza and chocolate cake after your diet's over. It's still going to be there.
The thing is funny is that, I diet for so long, then you crave all kinds of food, but it takes just a few days of like eating a bunch of crap, then you're like...
You're like, I'm done.
you don't feel... Even when I cheat, because I cheat sometimes on my high carb days, and I want to cheat the most on my low carb days.
Oh, you do?
On my high carb days, I'm not as hungry. I'm like, I wish I could feel the way I felt where I was craving, But then it's like I'm always looking for more. It's in my head, but I try to correct that with the gratitude. Like even the cool thing with prep, if you practice gratitude, is that there's always something nice to look forward to, and something nice like little things like, I ate my meal. Okay, it's gone, but But now I can take a nap. And the nap's gonna feel good, and
Yeah,
then I'll wait 1 hour. Then I'll have another meal, and this one is good because it has sweet potatoes in it. It does just little things like that
things, yeah.
to focus on. Yeah,
Absolutely. That's a really great way to think about it because it does. What you're doing is you're focusing on the positive. You're focusing on the things you really like.
What I have, not what I can't.
Not what you don't have. Exactly. You're taking it's precisely. That's perfect. That's beautiful. The kind of funny because I have a mentor, a business mentor. His name is David Meltzer, and he was the guy that they made the movie Jerry Maguire after. He was that was him, and he's really.
I follow him on Instagram.
David's awesome, and but one of the first lessons that he sort of gave me, or one of the first bits of advice was he reminded me that when he did this, it changed his perspective and changed his life really. That he, instead of saying I have to do something, he said I changed it and said I get to do it. I get to take out the trash. I get to go and help this person. I get to do this. Instead of going, oh man, I got to go work out, or I have to work out, or I have to eat this, or I have to do this. No, I get to. It's a blessing. It's a good thing for my life. And so when you make these small, subtle, like perspective shifts, it sure shifts your awareness and it shifts what you receive from your life. So some of what you're saying really sounds reminiscent of that. Like that you're just small, little, subtle ways of looking at your life can make a huge impact on how you feel about it. So that's good. That's good. What now? Speaking of dieting, because I have to ask you, do you have it? Like I always suffered with my appetite. It sucked. I was always forcing food when I was bulking up. The heaviest I ever got was about 272. Never over 10%. But I'm only 5'7", so I'm not very tall. So it was a lot. It took me. I was literally like forcing food down my throat every couple of hours, 8,000 calories a day. That's almost impossible for me to do now. I would never be able to do that. It's a lot. But what do you? You're a big dude. Like I looked at some of your pictures. I've seen you in competition, but especially today, your physique you have a very powerful physique. It's very, very. You have a lot, and I can see where you have a lot of room to still grow. You still can grow into more. Your frame. So, does your appetite help you? Do you have a big appetite in the off season, or would you say you have an average appetite?
The thing with the appetite is that I have a good appetite. But the thing is, if I start having snacks and little things I'm not supposed to eat in between the meals or a protein bar here and there, I'm gonna kill it. Because if you keep eating just your meals, just the rice and the chicken every like 2 or 3 hours, you're gonna be able to eat a lot of it. But sometimes what happens is that for me personally, dieting is way harder than contest prep. Yeah, because.
Me too.
It's way harder physically.
It was that way for me too. Dieting was easier for me. Dieting was easier.
Oh yeah,
I got a structure. I got this.
You breathe the meal. Breathe the meal. It's gone. The off season is like I sit down on front of the TV there. I put an episode on Netflix, and I'm like, okay, I gotta do this meal there. And then I just eat like repetition, like chew and swallow.
You can't think about it. You can't think about it.
Yeah, that's why if you watch something, it's better because you just finish it and then you're like in the zone. But
do you?
It was harder. I have a good appetite.
What is your calories like in the off season? Are they high? How many do you eat?
Because the thing with the Dorian, my coach, we just do portions. For example, like he writes me because I could put it in FitLog, my program that I use, but I don't do it for myself. For example, like he says, like meal one day was 1 whole egg, 5 ounces of chicken breast cooked, 300 grams of rice, three-quarter cup of raspberries and blueberries, and 1 teaspoon of fish oil. So I would have to calculate the macros.
But that's an average meal? Yeah,
but like for example, yesterday, my low day, I think I have 300 grams of carbs.
Okay.
That's a low day. So it's still a good amount of food.
Yeah.
But when
it doesn't feel like it at the time.
No, it doesn't feel like it's right now I'm like pretty tired and stuff because I'm getting leaner and leaner. But off season, it's like, you know when you're prepping, you're like, oh, I can't wait till I can eat more food. But then I tell myself, wait a minute, I was off season. I was wishing to be where I am right now.
Right, exactly.
We're crazy like that. It just never ends.
I'll tell you from my perspective, I'm 48 and I've been bodybuilding since I was 15, and my first competition was I was 19 in 1989. And I didn't stop until a couple years ago. And 57 shows I did in my lifetime. Did really well, but I could remember when I look back today, like I retired because I started judging and stuff like that. But when I work with my athletes, I remind them, I say, look, man, like I'm not even that old. I'm only 48. And I said, like, but all my competitive years, I'm done with it. Like I'm good with what I've done. But when I look back, like you'll look back on those days, not on the trophies, but you'll look back on all the process that you went through. And that's the stuff that we try to skip by. Don't skip by it. I'm like soak it up, be in your now, like really enjoy it. Because it's going to go. It's going to go. Someday it'll be gone.
Yeah, that's what you mean. Because another example I can talk about recovery again is that I did 4 rehabs, right? And it was very hard. It was very hard during those rehabs. I was suffering for the first part really hard. I was like, but then when I think back about it, I'm like, man, I missed those days. I missed the rehab. So I was like, why? Like, if I would be able to just take 3 weeks and go do a rehab, I would go for some reason. But why is that? It's like, and I think what you said is right. I'll be able to look back on those days where I'm low carb and I'm like suffering, air quotes, and I'll be like, wow, this was pretty cool. Because you know what it is? I think it's the challenge and just self-work and putting in the work, and then you're just doing stuff that's hard to do, and then you're making yourself you're proud of yourself. So I am aware of all that. I'm trying to enjoy the process, and I'm making sure that I'm in the now. And but like I said, when you're really like for example, I had legs this last Wednesday. And it was one of the worst days. It was like I got to the gym, I was dragging ass. I was like, oh my god. But then I'm thinking back about that day. It's like, oh, now it's all gone, and I'm just looking at what I did, pushed through, and I finished it, and it's good. So at some point I'll get old, hopefully, because if I don't, it means I'm dead. But yeah. But I look back on all that, and I'll probably, be like, "Wow, that was crazy."
I think we all do. I definitely have for certain, but I do appreciate. I try what is highlighted for me in my life so strongly today is that I want to appreciate my moments today. I try to do it really, really consistently with my daughter when I have time with her. Just other things, not just bodybuilding, but other things, like every tiny thing, because. Not all these people will be here. I may not be here. Who knows? Like, you just don't, there's no guarantees. And so my opportunity is now. And so often most of us live in our minds. We're living in the future, or we're looking back at the past. And while sometimes it's great to do that kind of stuff, if we live too much in those places, we miss all this, right? We miss the good moments. And that's the part that I don't want to miss.
Well, you don't like you probably know it already, but the past and the future is fake. The only thing that's real is right now.
That's right.
So it's like you're gonna stress about the future. You don't even know what's gonna happen. It's in your head. It's not even real. And the past is also in your head, so it's not real.
I think
you got is the future now.
I think Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this, but time is just a construct. It's just a human construct. We've arbitrarily sort of, but most people think of time as something very distinct. That there's a past and there's a present and there's a future. Right, clock time. Yeah. But really, you're right. Really, no, it's just now. That's it.
We make time up with the number of times the sun.
Right, exactly.
Pass like that. Okay, 1 day, 2 days, and then we keep track because we gotta do shit, and we have science to do with all that stuff and the appointments to do with the clock time. But in reality, it's like
I think we just use time as a way to measure our experience. That's it. It's not anything really necessarily real, but what is real is what's going on right now. Like you said, the now, right now is the only thing. And if we focus there, it makes life so much easier. I think you've already figured that out. It makes everything so much easier. Now I'm curious. You were talking about training, having a tough leg day, and I have to ask because I've been interested in sort of querying a lot of the people that I have on my show. What strategy do you and your trainer employ for your body? Do you do volume stuff, heavy stuff? Are you more of a heavy duty person? I'm just curious because you have a very rugged physique. It's very muscular. You put on a lot of good size, and I think you're like 6 foot, right?
Yeah.
So that's tall, and you don't have that appearance. When I look at your pictures, as a judge, when I look at you, I don't see this tall sort of. It doesn't. You don't have that kind of structure. I would have thought you were like 5'9", 5'10". You know, like that's what I would have thought. But you're actually a little taller, so that's good. But what kind of training style have you gravitated towards to build the physique that you have?
Well, over the years, I did lots of. When I first started training, I would do lots of volume and just go crazy with the drop sets. And then I was doing drops everywhere. Then I backed down with that, and then I just did it. I always did some type of crazy work, like challenge sets. Like, I'm going to try to get this amount of rep with that. And then I was doing a lot of that. And then one time, John Meadows was training me. So I was doing his programs, which is, it varies, right?
Right.
But he likes the pump stuff and the volume, but he also does, he combines stuff. And but right now, for example, the leg workout, when I was off season, I would train the legs like crazy, and I was able to recuperate. But now, because I'm dieting down and I get depleted, and I gotta be depleted to get shredded at some point. For the legs, we back down the volume. So
your legs are pretty dominant. They seem pretty dominant.
Yeah, but pretty dominant. But if I overtrain them, they're big, but they're flat. It's kind of weird look. So what we did is that we back down the volume. So I do 2 hamstrings, 3 quads.
Okay.
And I do a few warm-ups, or 1 warm-up, 2 warm-up, and then 1 crazy set. Okay. And then for example, on the leg press, I would warm up, and then I would like load it up and try to get as many reps as I can. And then I would do something similar on squats. I warm up, 1 big set. So it's kind of like Dorian Yates, just maybe a little bit more volume than he did.
Like 50, 60, 70 rep kind of set?
Well, one time my leg still hurts from that. I was with Dorian. I think we had 10 plates on the leg press aside the Atlantis one, if you could give you an idea. And I got 101 reps.
Nice.
Just like,
it's one of the challenges I give to some of my clients, because I love doing this. I would love doing what I call centurion sets, so 100 rep sets. They say, "Look, man, you just warm up. I would tell them to take 1 exercise to warm up, like extensions. Do a set of 4 sets of extensions just to warm up. Do your normal training routine with that, and then hit your leg press for 3 sets, 100 reps apiece, and then you're done." And if you could walk out, you didn't do enough. But usually that's enough.
Oh, yeah.
That'll take you an hour.
Oh, for sure. And the thing is, also for legs, people tell me like, "How did you?" Because I have good genetics for legs.
You have great
But I think for legs, what reacts the best with me is that I do heavyweight for high reps.
Okay.
For example, like you do 3 plates on the squats to try to get over 30 reps.
Right. Awesome.
And I think the heavyweight, because the legs can take a lot of beating.
Yeah, a lot of fiber.
Because it's a big muscle, It's not going to fail. Once it starts hurting, you got a long way to go before you fail. And usually you stop because it gets uncomfortable, or you stop because of your cardio. But if you just push through, when you think you're really done, you probably have like 15 more.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
Pain's an interesting thing in a workout. We look forward to it in the workouts. We don't in life, and it's all what we associate it with. I try to get people to try to associate that pain with good stuff. It's easy in the gym. We know, when I get a good pump, when I feel the burn, it's good. I try to remind myself of that when life does it to me. When I get a little burn in life, I'm like, okay, this is going to be good for me. I know it. I don't know how yet, but
my friend, he's my spiritual coach, one of my best friends, Aaron. He tells you everything is like bodybuilding. It's time out of tension.
Right.
But with time out of tension, and when you get like a tension, a struggle, or a pain in life, and you just push through, this is when you grow.
That's right.
It's the same thing as in the gym. So you're right. It's true. But we like the gym because that's probably the easiest one to deal with. It's the most fun one. I've
said this recently, and it applies so nicely to your life, to some of the story of your life so far, and that if you're not losing, you're not winning. So I really believe you have to have struggle. You have to have those things that knock you on your ass if you want such great things in life. If you don't want great things in life, then you can just coast through and you can be easy. That's okay too, if that's what you want. But most of us, or many of us, want great things. We want a great life. We want great relationships. We want lots of money. We want lots of success, and we want to help other people. And those are big things. But sometimes, in order to get to the point where we can do that, we kind of have to go. As they say, I asked my ex-girlfriend years ago, the one who was in AA. I said, "How come these people? Some of them they do well, then they sort of fall out, and they have to come back and get sober again." And she said, "Ted," she said, sometimes people just have to hit rock bottom. They gotta get to that point where they have nothing else to lose. And that gives them the perspective to say, okay, this is fucking unacceptable. I'm not doing this anymore, because if I do, I'm gonna die. And I think life does that to us too, that we each have our rock bottom. Like when it comes to our success, we gotta have some challenge that just confronts us and pushes us to learn more, to become more. If you walked into every contest and just smoked everybody, you probably wouldn't push yourself quite as hard to become better and better and better. You'd be like, hey man, I'm doing it. It's like, so.
It's like in Pumping Iron when the guy said, yeah, but the wolf on top of the hill is not as hungry.
As the one climbing the hill.
Then Arnold said, yeah, but when he wants the food, it's there. He's pretty good with the comeback there, but I know what you mean. And also what you said, like earlier, if you want a great life, well, you got to risk it for the biscuit, right?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. You do. And it's I think it's like mediated risk, but it's still risk. It's still like you have to put something on the line. That's you. That's you. Your experience, your life, your time, your energy. It's important. I always ask this question. At least lately, I've been. Do you have any funny or interesting or unusual fan stories? Because I've come up with some really funny ones. Because over the last several weeks. But do you have any funny fan stories that, or ones that were just unusual, memorable?
Yeah, I have one. It's a pretty funny one. So, in the days of social media, and because people put pictures on the internet, there's people who use my pictures, right?
Okay.
On dating apps and things like that.
Without asking you?
They don't ask me. They pretend that.
Oh, they pretend they're you. Oh shit.
Yes. Yes, they pretend they're me, sometimes with my name, sometimes not with my name. But one time I was at an expo, and this girl comes to me, said, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" He said, "Yeah." So she started talking about.
You're like, Chicago, "I don't know you, lady."
Stuff like that. And I'm like, did we talk? He said, "Are you kidding? We talked on the this and that." I'm like,
I don't have a.
I
don't participate.
It wasn't me. Then I kind of caught on there. I think you talked to somebody who was using my pictures. You should have seen the girl's face.
Oh my gosh! So she was totally fooled.
She destroyed. Looked down on the ground and left without saying goodbye.
Oh man!
I was like, oh god! And that's not the first time it happened.
Do you think that she thought you were just blowing her off, or do you think she thought that, oh my god, I just got taken?
I think she probably saw in my face. I had no clue.
Oh wow!
Unless she misread it, I was like so confused. But it's still the first time it happened. One time I had a girlfriend, and then one of my friends, he calls me. He says, "Hey, she's coming. She's coming." I'm like, "Who's coming?" I'm gonna change her name. Sarah's coming to Montreal. She's coming.
This was your girlfriend at the time?
No, she was. I had a girlfriend.
Oh, this is just some other person.
I'm on the phone talking to my other friend, a guy who's telling me that this other girl's coming and it's coming. I'm like, who? Sarah. She's coming. Who the fuck is Sarah? and then he said, yeah, this girl, you talk to her. And I'm like, no.
You're like, I did?
and then my real girlfriend back then is in front of me, and she's like, who's that? Who's Sarah? I'm like, I don't know. it's like from her point of view, it looked like I was hiding.
Trying to get a hookup.
It was actually somebody else is using my pictures, talking to this one, and she was coming to Montreal to do something or see me or something.
Oh, wow.
And then I said, like, I don't even know who she is. And then I finally it worked out because,
why does
shit like that?
Why are there so many people using your likeness? I don't get it. I'm sure there's a lot of people this happens to, but celebrities or people who are somebody they admire. I don't know, because maybe it's the physique. I don't know.
I think since I lost my hair, I don't have as much problem with that. But when I had hair, they would use a lot of my pictures. And so if you're a girl or a guy, and I'm talking with you, and my pictures that have hair, it's not me.
It's not you.
It's not me.
It's not you.
Oh yeah, well with this, I got lots of weird stories.
Why did you shave your head? Did you just shave it because you liked it?
No, I'm bald.
Oh well, not that bald. Shit.
No, I am bald. Like, it stops here.
So I
think it got really bad when I started partying a lot and using lots of drugs and no sleep. It just fell off and then just never came back. So now I just bake it.
So now I've talked to other guys, and everyone, all the guys who I know who shaved their heads went from hair to no hair, say the same thing, that it's very freeing. It's like totally freeing. And I was tempted.
Very nice.
I was tempted. I was tempted to shave, but some of my friends were like, nah, don't shave, not till you absolutely have to, Tad.
Yeah, no, I would keep the hair. But yeah, if you were there in person, I will let you touch my skull. It looks very soft. It's nice.
Oh, cool. So it's like, but I
see yourself in it.
I always thought it would just be so much easier than fucking with my hair.
It is. But the thing is that if I don't bake it often, when it starts to grow, you can really see
the stubble,
the bald spot, right?
Oh,
so that's not cool. Like at first I was pretty self-conscious about it, but then I was like, you know what? I have a nice skull actually.
Yeah.
I could have bumps and stuff, and like some people, their head are like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like that all the time. So I'm pretty lucky, and you gotta be grateful.
Yeah.
Even if I don't have hair, I have like all my senses, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
So but sometimes I used to like always wear a hat all the time, and if I was in the gym, I would if I would remove my shirt, I would switch the hat really quick. And I used to be self-conscious about it because I was like, I used to have hair, and then I'm away for a few years. I come back with no hair, and also it was kind of like, I was self-conscious. But then I was like, what am I doing?
Who cares?
Who cares?
I'm actually considering.
And you're right. It's just I go out of the shower and there's nothing to dry. It's just like
oh man,
it feels good. And the thing, I'm always sweating. It's like if I had like long hair again. I would be like way too warm, right?
Well, I think like I had so much hair when I was younger that now, even though I have a pretty good hair now, I can see the difference. It didn't start thinning until I was like 40, and the last 8 years it's thinned quite a bit compared, because when I was in college and high school and college and a young adult, man, I swear I was like Bert from Sesame Street. I had my eyebrows, I had hair down to here. It was like, oh my God, now I got like a 5 head. I got more than a 4 head. It's a 5 head. It's like So, but I was thinking about growing my beard out. I like your beard. I was thinking about growing it up. My girlfriend, she just doesn't like this. But I got to do it for me. So I'm thinking about growing the whole thing out again because I love it. I can get it, and I can grow a really good beard. I like the way yours is. So I might grow mine out again too. I think it lends itself good.
I went to the barber.
Was it? Oh,
yeah.
I said I want to learn how to use one of those straight razors because I think you can get it tight, like really. I've seen some of my friends.
Oh yeah, the blade, you mean?
Yeah. Like the nice long, like the old fashioned kind of stuff.
Yeah, although I don't use that. But you can start. You know what you can do? You can go to the barber, and then you look at what they do, and then you can kind of learn what he's doing.
Oh yeah. Get it. One of my buddies, I have several friends here who are Muslim and stuff, and they always have the best fucking beards, man.
They're good barbers. The Middle Eastern guys.
It's like a whole thing. Yeah, they got a whole deal going.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I usually end my podcast with a couple of questions. They're kind of fun, and I usually have one that's unique to the person. So, yours, I wanted to ask you what, through your journey so far in your life, and it doesn't have to just be related to some of the things we talked about, what has been the most powerful learning message or the most powerful thing that you've learned so far that's benefited you?
The most powerful thing that I've learned. I think I can go back to when I was younger, and then when I just wanted to get stronger and just get better in general, and then I just put in the work, put in the effort, and then I did something hard and challenging, and then the feeling that you get when you succeed at the end, and then the results you get was like life changing. So, oh, okay. Like if I put in the work, and if I just put my head down, and I do what like something that's hard that most people won't do, I'm gonna feel better, and I'm gonna be proud of myself. And also, I also believe that if you live, maybe think that if you live a life in sacrifice, you're gonna be happier. Like
How so?
how so?
Yeah. What do you explain that a little bit? I like that, but explain it. So sacrifice equals,
Well, for example,
a greater degree of happiness.
any kind of sacrifice. For example, right now I'm sacrificing the freedom of eating whatever I want for a certain goal, and when I'm prepping my life, for some reason I'm happier, and I also learned that when I'm living in a little bit of sacrifice, and if I'm living a little bit uncomfortable, and if I'm a little bit challenged every day, I'm gonna be happier. Because off season I had less challenge, except sitting down and chowing meals. I had less challenge, and I was kind of lost and confused. And I was like, yeah, I didn't feel as good. I was like 70. I could tell you 70% of the time I wasn't in a good state of mind for some reason.
Huh.
And then I started prepping, and then everything gets harder, and then my life makes more sense. It's like I'm more comfortable in the uncomfortable.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's pretty weird, right? And I also learned, if you want to go back to the question there, because I did, the feeling that the drugs gave me were amazing, right? But when I won my pro card and when I went back on stage at the last show last year, and I heard the crowd and the feeling of self accomplishment, there's no drugs on the earth that I did, and I did all the drugs in the hardest ways. There's nothing that compares to the feeling I had on stage, accomplishing all the hard work and all the hard work that I put, and the discipline and the pain and the suffering and all the, if you want to call it that, all the way through. It was worth it. And then the feeling that you get physically, and the feeling that you get spiritually, there's nothing that beats that. It's the greatest high ever. So
maybe bodybuilding's not your 12-step, it's your 12-week for the 12-week diet.
Yeah.
I don't know how many weeks you take to diet, but
yeah, no. But for real, it's like, I think living in sacrifice in the end.
I like that.
Yeah, it's you gotta be happier. You gotta be happier than if you just. Well, you kind of see it. You said a little bit earlier that if you have no struggles, if you look at a kid that always had everything, I don't think they're happier. I think they're just like.
I mean, they might have easier. It might be an easier.
Yeah.
But easy doesn't always mean happy. Yeah.
No, you to really appreciate the success, you gotta be like, you gotta come from a place where that was pretty dark, I think. And a good example is Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. He always talks about when he had like $7 in his pocket, got evicted from that place in Hawaii. And I think this guy's got it down, and I think he's a great guy for anybody to look up to.
Absolutely.
Because he worked super hard. He's very driven, and now he's actually giving back. He's positive. He's like on the social media, showing to the world that if you work, if you have a dream and you work, it's possible, because he did it. And he from a little apartment there, in Hawaii, and he just worked his way up to being, I don't know what he is right now. So I think like I said, to go back to your question again, for me also, hitting many rock bottoms and losing everything, being homeless and living in a shelter and all that stuff that I did, made me realize, gave me even more drive. And now that I'm successful again, I'm like, you know what? Because before all that happened, I was like, yeah, successful, yeah, good contract, but it's like,
you didn't appreciate it as much.
Not as much. Now it's like I'm actually more aware of reality and how much that is worth. And so the struggle and the pain and the rock bottoms, those are probably also the best thing that happened to me, for real. And so that's. I guess I answered your question.
Yeah, it's good.
Different.
No, it's good. It's a good answer. I totally can see that in our dialogue and in your stories, your recanting of your stories. of how you have gained some real insight into your life, and you can see the value of where you're at today. That's awesome. I mean, that's so. It seems so logical, but it's so rare sometimes to see people actually walk through life, experience these struggles, and then actually turn their life around, actually derive something of real value for their life, more than just getting out of the situation. It's one thing to just remove yourself from a toxic situation for your life, but it's another thing to remove yourself and then improve upon it, use that as fuel and improve upon your life, and that's good.
Well, at some point, I remember I had a friend of mine back then. I was like active drug addiction, and she said, at this point in time right now, you got to make a choice. If you keep going on the path you're in right now, you're going to become a criminal. You're going to end up in jail or whatever. You're going to die. You're going to be a fucking loser. So either you're a fucking loser or you're a champion. Either you're a failure or you're a champion.
That's right.
I cannot be in the middle.
Can't be in the middle. That's right. That's true. That's exactly right.
So I had the choice. Either in the streets has been loser. I could have been this waste of potential, or I'm a champion.
That's right.
So I'm choosing the champion.
Good for you. I'm glad. The next question, what's your biggest blessing?
My biggest blessing.
Like when you say, "Oh, I'm so thankful for this," and I'm sure there's many things, but like if you could say, like what comes to mind first as your biggest blessing?
I think it's my mom.
Your mom? Oh, do you live close to her? Is she nearby?
No, she's back in near Montreal, but I think because she's the one who made me, she's the one who raised me, she's the one who was there when I was down, and
Is you close to your mom?
Yeah. I just get emotional because it's true. She's the biggest blessing.
My mother, I was raised by a single mother. My brother, I have a twin brother, identical twin brother. So we grew up together, and it was just us three. And so when I think of family, I think of me, my brother, my mother. I still do to this day. And I am so thankful, like you, I'm so very thankful that my mother was the way she was. She raised me the way she did. We were very poor, but she didn't make a lot of money. But she was never short on love, never short on nurturing. I never had to prove myself to her. And so I was always so thankful for that. And so what I do today is I can feel that within me. When I interact with people like you or anybody else, most people who know me, they know when you talk to me, it's a no judgment zone. I'm gonna be as joyful as I can. I'm gonna be as loving as I can, because that's what I remember feeling this constantly in my life as a child, and it's my mother. So I totally get it. It sounds like your mother was something similar. Yeah,
it's pretty crazy because when you think about it, it's like my mother actually made me. Yeah. Biologically, I'm like a clone of my mother, and if it wasn't for her being there and being the bigger person and everything that happened, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I wouldn't be what I am right now. It's like everything. I think everything that's good about me is either because of my mom, everything that she showed me and she was there for me, and it's also because of what I lacked on the other side with my dad, and then I had to be a self-made man because of that. I had no example, so I created something, and everything that I lacked, and it was probably why I was feeling worthless and scared, and I want to be stronger and bigger. That I would change nothing. I would change nothing, because if it wasn't for what I missed, if it wasn't for what my mom gave me, I wouldn't be what I am right now. Sometimes you're like, I can't be angry at my dad anymore, because if it wasn't for my dad, because he had his own thing, it's like he was 20-year-old. I was born, and he had the same problem as me a little bit. So it was like 20-year-old with the same problem as me. Like, how can you raise a kid? So
right. You're probably lucky that he wasn't there. Because I feel like knowing what I know my father.
He couldn't take care of himself, right?
Right.
So it's kind of hard to take care of a kid. But my mom was there. But like I said, because of what happened when I was younger, because of the fear, what came from the fear of being worthless and abandoned, and not being good enough. Because I always have the same feel, like, you know, when something happens very young and then it stays your whole life.
Yeah. You gotta.
I always feel I'm not good enough. I gotta be better. But I should be grateful, you know. But it's just a feeling inside me. But that feeling came from what happened when I was younger, and because of that, I started training. Because of that, this happened, this happened, this happened. Bad stuff happened too. I want to be validated, you know, when partying with the girls,
Sure.
you know, lots of sex, whatever. So a lot of good, a lot of bad came out of it, but it's who I am.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm a mixture of all the pain and the misery and the things that happened in my past that were good and bad, and maybe who I am. And my mom is probably all the good stuff. So, because if it was only bad stuff, that would be a different situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was there. She was patient. And she's my blessing for sure.
What's your mother's name?
Manon.
Manon.
Manon. Manon. Manon.
Oh, Manon. Manon.
Yeah.
Is that
Manon?
Manon. That's
Manon is French.
It's French. Okay. I should know that.
French.
I should know that because I took like 7 years of French. Although I don't speak it very well anymore. I can read it much better, but I got to brush up. You don't use language, you lose it.
French is a stupid language. It's so hard. So when you don't know French, it's impossible to learn. Even for us, it was like we're at school, like, oh, so it's always like that, but then when it's that word, it's not like that.
All the exceptions.
Why? Because it's like that. Like, there's so many exceptions. It's crazy.
English is like that too. English has got a lot of exceptions, and here's the last question. This one I can't just for you, and mostly because when I looked at your Instagram stuff, you seem pretty funny. I like the faces you make. You do the eyebrow thing like I do, and so I was like, okay, so I said, if you and I always like to ask these kind of interesting questions, these kind of out of the box questions, so I can see what kind of personality that person is. But if you could be a car, what kind of car would you be?
There would be a car.
Yeah.
Okay. I would be. You know what's funny? I'm not a car guy.
Oh, you're not?
I can't really. I'll try to. No, I'm not a car guy.
Or
my car right now, you know what it is? My car is a Hyundai Elantra 2009.
Okay.
And I got a bike rack in the back.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
And a big sound. You know what the cool thing with my car is? I put back then it was like a $3,000 sound system in it.
So like, the sound system is worth more than the car is now.
Yes. So if I was a car, what would I be? It's such a hard question. I gotta think about it.
Or you can replace that with animal.
Oh, an animal.
Yeah. Because that's really that's the sort of I like people to describe themselves in different ways. That's just another way to do it. A car or an animal.
Because I was always wondering, what's my spirit animal? I never really got one.
I thought that last year I wanted to find this. This was my question to myself. Like, what was my spirit animal? What is this animal that resonates with me? And
yeah.
It's the elephant. I don't know why. It's just like there was such. And I went to Thailand last year with my girlfriend, and she went on this elephant excursion. It was awesome with this reserve where they take care of the elephants and stuff. And we got to take care of them and ride them and stuff, and clean them and feed them. It was awesome, and they're so smart. You really realize really quickly that we're not the only ones on this planet that feel stuff. All these animals feel stuff.
Yeah, dolphins too.
Dolphins. I love dolphins.
Even the octopus. I think the octopus, we don't know enough about them.
Right.
But I think they're pretty smart.
You're right. Yeah, we're still trying to learn more about those cephalopods.
Yeah. But if I was my spirit animal, I think maybe some kind of some type of bear.
A bear? Oh, okay.
Because during the winter, I sleep a lot and I'm more fat and hairy. and then when it's summertime, I wake up. I'm all like small and hungry,
emaciated. Kind of funny. You have a lot of interesting parallels to the things that have gone on in my life. Not experiences, but some of the things. But when you say bear, my nickname, my grandmother and my mother and my family, but my grandmother, my mother nicknamed me when I was a kid, Tadabear, because my name's Tad. My full name is Tadayoshi, but
Tadayoshi.
Tadayoshi, yeah, but I shortened it to Tad because when I was a kid, because nobody could pronounce the full name very well. But my family always called my grandmother always because I used to like to snuggle with her and my mom, and so it would call me Tada Bear.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing, right?
So,
Yeah.
well, hey Antoine, I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule and out of your day to talk with me. I really appreciate it. It was wonderful getting to know you and talking to you about some of these things. I think you're going to do really well this year. I think it's going to be a good year for you. I think you're going to continue to improve. I wish you the absolute best of luck at the Toronto Pro. I know you're going to do good.
Yeah.
But tell everybody how to get a hold of you, what to look for from you. Tell everybody how the best way to see the stuff that's going on for you.
Well, it was a good podcast. We didn't talk a lot about bodybuilding, but usually that's what happens. You know, sometimes in my life I don't talk. I talk about bodybuilding with my bodybuilding friends, but in general, there's a lot of that stuff that we talked about that I talked about. So it was good. Also, I had a little nice surprise, emotional surprise at the end with my mom.
The funny thing is, most of my podcasts, I don't talk bodybuilding as much. It's not geared to that. It's geared. That's why I call it HYH. I call it Handle Your High, because to me that means like and you should know this. Everybody who parties knows that when somebody's having a bad high, like it can fuck up the thing for the whole group. Like it can mess up everybody's deal. So and I feel like this is the state of affairs in life, that we're all in this life at this great party, having a great time, so to speak. And when somebody's not, when you spill over your bad stuff on other people, it's important for us each to handle our own stuff. It's handle our own emotions, our own feelings. Like I tell my girlfriend this, she hates it when I say this. I used to always tell her, it's not my responsibility to manage your emotions. You have to do that. It's not my job.
Her off even more.
It does. It pissed her off. She's like, well, you're supposed to care. I said, I care immensely, but I can't. But if you're asking me to feel badly with you, you're barking up the wrong tree. Because it's not my job. Your job is to manage your feelings. And just in the same way, I never ask anybody else to manage mine. In other words, I don't need you to perform a certain way for me to like you. I'm going to like you. You know, it's not your job. You do you, you do you be the best you can be. I'm going to do the same. And that goes true for everybody else in my life. And so that's why I named the show that. And I tend to not want to talk about, I guess it's because I've been in bodybuilding for so many years. I just tend to want to talk about interesting stuff, like about the person. So I'm so glad that you did. So thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you.
No problem. Yeah. It was good. So if people want to reach me, I post daily on Instagram. My Instagram is Antoine V87. I got my YouTube channel that I have since 2006 that I'm back at it for a little while now. So I'm going to send you all the links, I guess you can put it. And on my YouTube and SoundCloud there, I'll see the links. Also, I started my podcast, and I got one episode so far. It's about the addiction and recovery from A to Z pretty much. So it's a pretty good episode. If people are struggling with that, they're going to relate to a lot of it for sure. And also, we're just a little publicity for the gym we're opening here in Burlington, Ontario. It's going to be the Mecca of bodybuilding in Canada, Pure Muscle and Fitness. And
what's the IG handle?
I'm going to have my website also, avbodybuilding.com, which is going to be like online pretty soon. So keep note with that. And also thanks to Team HD, my coach, Joy Hamilton, my mom, and my sponsors, Redcon Right Aware and Iron Bowl Strength, and then anybody, all my friends and stuff helping me out. And thanks to the show, you Tad, with your show here, giving me time to ramble.
Thank you.
And,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I think I did it.
What's the IG handle for Pure Muscle and Fitness Gym?
It's Pure Muscle and Fitness.
Oh, Pure Muscle. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you. Stay on the line here. Don't hang up before when I start recording. But thank you so much, Antoine. I really, truly. How do I pronounce your last name correctly?
It's Vaillant.
Vaillant. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I can do that. Vaillant. Okay. But in French class, my name was Luc. Luc, because my middle name is Luther.
Oh.
And it was the only thing that was remotely close to my name. There's no Tad. There's no derivative of Tad. So I picked Luke, and I also was a huge fan of Star Wars when I was growing up. So I figured, okay, I could be like Luke Skywalker. I'm like,
Luke in French is L-U-C.
Yeah, exactly.
L-U-K-E.
But it was the closest. It was the closest I could find. It was the closest I could find. So I was Luke.
Yeah, that's cool.
So thank you so much again. But hang on real quick before I go. But thank you so much, and I'll put all this stuff down in the notes when I post this stuff. So
awesome.
Thanks again.
Handle your high with Tadayoshi.